Welcome everyone to Ring the Bell. This is Diaz.
And the Sriracha Muchacha, Paloma Star, our very first luchadora on Ring the Bell, La Belleza Hecha Rudeza, Black Widow.
Woo! Wait, what does that mean?
So it's like the beauty turned into a heel.
Oh, I love that. So Black Widow, how long have you been wrestling for?
So I started training at 12 years old.
Oh my god.
Some people figure out my age once they do the math. I've been wrestling for about, I want to say 7 years now. Well, going on to 7 years.
Paloma, have you wrestled with Black Widow?
I have, and it was probably one of my favorite matches, like top 5 favorite matches for sure. Because not only was I able to wrestle in my hometown in El Paso in front of my friends and family, but man, like we went. It was awesome. Like we went. Like that. Like everything that we wanted to do worked out perfectly. It was crazy how much chemistry we had like right away. The first time meeting, the first time wrestling. So it was awesome. I mean, Black Widow's great.
Just so that our viewers can get the little sense of you, who's your all-time favorite female wrestler?
I don't know, because it usually changes with like eras, I guess. Growing up, I really used to like watching Fabi Apache. You know, like the Apache dynasty. I always thought they were really great. Lady Apache, all of them. And I think like in more of an American style, I really loved Lay Cool, Mickie James, and Layla. Those two, I really loved them, especially for their heel work. I always thought they did such a great job.
Let's jump right into this week's review, and we'll start with SmackDown, where we had a huge champion versus champion match between Charlotte Flair, the NXT, the overexposed, the queen, and then we have Bayley, the SmackDown Women's Champion. Before we get into the match, we had a backstage segment where Bayley told Sasha, I'm gonna take care of this business alone.
I just thought it was fine. It was very like on point, I guess, because of Bayley's kind of like, no, you take the back seat this time. Let me do the work, as opposed to kind of almost relying on Sasha to keep on like cheating for her and winning for her. It made like Bayley step up, I guess.
You know, it was decent. It wasn't bad or anything. I just think that Bayley and Sasha thing is kind of getting dragged out, like the tension between them.
Yeah.
If they're ever gonna turn on each other, or if they're not, like it's getting dragged out so much. I don't know if they're just trying to hyping it up even more, so like when it happens, it'll just be that much bigger. But at this point, I'm kind of waiting, but at the same time, I'm kind of tired of waiting.
Because the original plan was to do this big blowout match at SummerSlam in August in Boston, Sasha's hometown. But now that that's not happening, we don't know when WWE is going to finally pull the trigger.
Pretty sure they're just waiting for that live feedback, live reaction. But who knows when that's going to be? So it's like, they're like, hurry up and do it.
Let's get into this match. Charlotte Flair versus Bayley. Champion versus champion. I personally really like this match a lot.
Me too. It was legit some of Bayley's best work I've seen. Like, I was like, wow, Bayley, all right. Both of them were really good at playing up the characters. And I think heel versus heel is always really hard to do. But I think it works when there's no fans. Because usually when it's a heel versus heel, fans are like, so who do we cheer for? So it just ends up like booing or like not saying anything. But I think this time, since there's no fans, it kind of worked out better for them. But I really, really liked it. I mean, Bayley did great. I don't want to say surprise me, because then it makes me feel like Bayley hasn't been doing that good, but it legit surprised me.
I know that some Bayley fans think we bash on Bayley all the time. That's not true. That's not true. Bayley has been really stepping up her game. She's been absolutely amazing. She found the true color that she really wanted to be. So she's been great. And in this match, the way she interacted with Michael Cole, the way she interacted with the referee, how she was like, I'm testing you if you're really doing your refereeing job. Like, it was all very good. And I love their chemistry with Charlotte, because even right before when she turned heel, her match with Charlotte was amazing on SmackDown. So like this chemistry just was so on there.
Lately, I haven't really been looking forward to Charlotte matches, just because she's been on all brands and just kind of like plowing through people, and it hasn't really seemed like a really good wrestling match. Like, I like technical matches, so her matches haven't really been technical. She's really just been running through people, so I wasn't really looking forward to it. I thought this was just going to be another one of those matches, but I was honestly really surprised and impressed, like you guys said, because this was a better technical match than what she's usually been doing.
Let's talk about Charlotte being overexposed for a little bit, because she's literally on every show.
That's not even an exaggeration. Like, she's literally in every show.
I mean, at least she's not like moving anywhere. She's just showing up to the same building every time. But she's everywhere. And a lot of the fans are in the comment section keep saying that they're sick and tired of her. It doesn't matter if she's good or not.
I know everybody's going to be like, oh, I'm sick and tired of seeing her. But she's probably one of the best female wrestlers that they have, or even just wrestling in general that they have on the roster. And I feel like every time she does wrestle somebody, she almost helps them or like elevates them, helps them out in that point. But I do see her being used all the time is definitely an overexposure of it. Like too much of a good thing. Too much of a good thing could be a bad thing too.
I agree. I actually really liked Charlotte at one point. She was probably one of my favorites from WWE because she is really good at what she does. You know, it's not just a last name or anything like that. But as of late, I haven't really been looking forward to watching her matches just because, you know, she's everywhere. We see her all the time. So at this point, it's kind of like overkill.
I mean, the fatigue is real. I think we can't really just dismiss that. But at the same time, I personally cannot really complain that much because if Charlotte is taking all that spotlight and taking opportunities from people, I may be upset, but then there's also tons of other wrestlers getting spotlight at this time. Asuka, Nia Jax, Mandy and Sonya, Liv Morgan's getting a TV time. So I feel like a lot of the people are actually getting their time right now. So I'm not completely upset that Charlotte is hogging everything. Like there has been a time where Charlotte, Ronda Rousey, Becky, few people has been hogging all the TV time for the women, but I don't think that's happening right now, so I'm not complaining that much.
I hate being a diplomat, but I totally see both sides. I see why WWE is using Charlotte so much, and I see why fans are complaining that she's being used a lot. And also, the only thing, though, I do agree with you, DS, I just wish, where's Bianca Belair? She goes here now, so why don't they use her? Like, throw her in the mix, and everybody is getting a lot more opportunities, especially in the women's side, but come on, use Bianca Belair.
Even Naomi or even Dana Brooke was not on SmackDown. But Bayley won this match.
I liked it. I wasn't mad about it. I love the finish too. I'm always happy when heels do a finish that's a shitty finish or a dirty finish because it makes you more of a heel. Like it makes you like why, like almost like why wouldn't you? But I liked how you like mentioned back with the ref, like always checking to make sure you're reffing right. That was like the little things like that I don't think we wouldn't necessarily hear or get if there was a crowd. So I kind of like how she was playing into that and then like working with it more. But I didn't mind the finish. I mean, I get it. It's another roll up. What else are you gonna do? But at least it was dirty. At least it was very heelish of her.
I think about at least 50% of my matches I've won by cheating, so I appreciated it. I might be biased, but I really did appreciate it. I think I actually cheated with your match.
I was about to say, now that you say that, I'm pretty sure that's how you won her match. I mean, technically, to be fair, I won the first time, and then we had a rematch right after that, and then guess what she beat me with? I'm pretty sure it was a roll-up.
The most devastating finisher. You know, my favorite moment of this match is when Bayley was like chopping Charlotte, and Charlotte's like,
yeah.
Oh, God.
Beat me, Bayley, come on.
Chop me more, Bayley. Come on. I'm like, I like it. Let's move to the tag match. Mandy and Otis versus Sonya Deville and Dolph Ziggler.
Can it be intergender wrestling yet? I mean, we keep on teasing it. I know one step closer little by little, but I'm just ready for it. I mean, quite honestly, I don't know if we'll ever really see it in WWE because that's how it is. But I love intergender wrestling. I love wrestling guys because, like, if you really want to have women be equal, then you would have them in an equal playing field. I mean, I totally get why they don't do it, and I totally get that too. But I just really want intergender wrestling already. And so, like, even if it was in a tag match, you know, it'd be great to see that be like with the guys and the girls mixing up, even just a tag match, obviously maybe not singles right away, but I kind of wanted a little bit of teasing of intergender wrestling here, but it was good. Mandy looked great. She looked great in her jean little shorts.
Yeah,
too.
let's talk about that gear. So she has this new Otis-inspired gear. And just to preface, we're not commenting on women's looks just because. We're talking about her new character, new gimmick. There you go. But let's talk about her attire. Personally, I never got, and this is like just my personal fashion thing, but when like the pockets are exposed like that, I don't personally love it.
I mean, I prefer her usual attire, but the jeans, like, I didn't mind it. I didn't look bad.
I actually like it because, you know, we've talked about it before, how her golden goddess, like the whole character doesn't really match with the current. She's a cool girlfriend, you know. She's in the transition mode, I think. She still came in with that jean, but she was keep doing like that in the entrance. So I think she's in her way there, and I do like it. I think it's a right tweak to her character.
So this is my personal preference too. I always think it's so lazy when women, guys too, wear not wrestling gear. Like whenever they're just wearing jeans or like leggings and stuff like that. Oh my, I think it's so lazy. Like, oh, I got this and it looked cool. Like, come on, just get some gear made. It doesn't even have to be like with your name on it, just like some gear. And don't get me wrong, I definitely was that person early on in my career, wrestling in a cute skirt and a top because I was looking cute. But but I think she actually pulled off the whole like jean jacket or jean vest and the jean shorts really cute. So and it actually makes sense. Like there's a reason why she's doing that. It's not opposed to like, oh, this is my wrestling gear.
Paloma, I heard you had a little feud with Joey. This confirms it.
I know. I mean, I wasn't going to say who I was talking about, but since you said that.
Yeah, what do we think of this match?
It was good. I liked it.
I really like Sonya. I really like the strong style myself, so I really love her hard-hitting background and like her MMA background. I've always liked that, so I think she did really good this time.
And I actually think the guys were playing like second role to the women, and I feel like a lot of times in mixed tag matches it's always the other way around. So it was great to see the men being like the background players in a mixed tag match as opposed to the women. As I'm actually surprised that the storyline is still keep progressing and keep on getting better, especially since the main writer was let go. I was kind of worried that the storyline might fall off or go do something stupid. So I'm glad that they're still building and building up. I just can't wait till the big blow off match between Mandy and Sonya. Yeah. And Sonya's been killing it lately. That knee that she does, that's really cool.
Good plug, Paloma, because that interview with the female writer of WWE Creative Team will be coming up this weekend. She talks she talks whatever is accepted by NDA. But no, I totally agree with you. I totally got that World Heavyweight Championship Edge and Kelly versus Late Cool and Dolph Ziggler vibe, where like women completely took over that match. This match was all about the women, and the Sonya Deville, from her entrance, she just slayed the match. She slayed. I know that this tag match was something that we've been all waiting for in like pay-per-view or something, but I just want to see it between Mandy and Sonya. A first blood match, or like I quit match, or no disqualification match, or some of that blowout match in a pay-per-view.
For sure. I think it's about time that the women start getting like these types of matches, not just simple like regular matches. I think they do need these no DQ matches, stuff like that. It's time.
On Raw, we start with the KO show. KO was feeling PTSD from last week's Natalya's tantrum. So the moment Natalya was coming out, KO was like, please don't touch my stuff. Ma'am, please don't touch it.
I see why Natalya came out and she's like, oh, I'm so sorry about messing up your thing. But also, like, I know this was to set up the triple threat match, but why Natalya? Why not Shayna Baszler? Because I feel like Natalya has lost 2 times in a row.
Oh, yeah.
And all of a sudden, she's in a number 1 contender match. But anyway, the actual segment itself it did its job. It just set up the match for later on and got you invested in it. And also just wanted to point out that it's kind of cool too to see the women in talk show segments.
No, I love that even Shayna pointed it out on Twitter, like, why am I not in that match? Like, what is going on? And one thing that changed from this Raw is that they might have taken a page from AEW. We've got that big plexiglass, and then all the NXT superstars are out there. They picked up one merch from WWEshop.com, and they're like, they're cheering on the ringside.
Yeah, it looked like they were at a hockey game.
But I loved it. It gave so much energy into it.
I was waiting for someone to get thrown into the plexiglass. But it hasn't happened yet. They're saving it for next time, I think.
They're saving it for CDC guideline.
So that's for the segment. I thought it wasn't bad. I've always thought Charlotte and Asuka were really entertaining. Even though Asuka doesn't say much, I think she's hilarious.
Yeah.
I always just like hearing her. I hope Natalya fans don't come for me. But Natalya, though, her segments always feel kind of forced. So I've never been a fan of her on the mic because she always, it doesn't seem genuine coming from her.
It's just so sad because if you see it on Total Divas, she's so genuine. She's just a lovely person, but somehow there is a disconnect of bringing that to a wrestling character. So I hoped this whole tantrum is a start of a new character, but it doesn't seem like it. But she got a phone call from TJ. Like what?
I think maybe the way that they're going is that she's the unprofessional one now, I guess. But maybe I'm thinking way too much into it. But you're telling me that she hasn't talked to her husband this whole time in 7 days, and TJ, who's a wrestler and has been a wrestler, just called her in the middle of Raw? Come on now. It's already hard to believe sometimes, but to add that to it, to the whole Natalya thing, it's just like, oh, okay. But I think you're right, DS. I think there's a disconnect between what Natalya is doing and what creative gives her. I kind of wish, I mean, I don't know who, maybe she does, but I wish it would be better, like if Natalya says, what about if I do this? Or what if I do this? I don't know if she does give those suggestions. I mean, for all I know, this might be her idea, but I just want to see a little bit more of her in everything that she does, because I don't think it's much of like, oh, I'm reading this off a piece of paper. This is what I'm supposed to do. Because even in her TikToks, she has so much personality, and she's so like likable and nice. I don't think it's coming off that much a lot lately in a lot of things that Natty does.
Oh my God, I think this is the first interview segment ever where the interviewer...
I'm sorry, we're out of time now.
We don't have time anymore.
And also, that was like 10 seconds. You tell me you only had time for like 10 seconds to interview her. What were you going to talk about anyway?
Shall we move into that triple threat match? Asuka is in the commentary. We love it.
We love it, definitely. More of Asuka doing anything. She's so entertaining. Even if she doesn't say much, she doesn't have to, because your eye just gets drawn to her because she's so funny.
What do you think of this match?
Honestly, I kind of liked it for the most part. I would say there were a few things that like I wasn't really a big fan of. Like I feel like Nia Jax is capable of doing a lot more than they have her do. Like she kind of just bulldozes through people, and I feel like she could do more in that match specifically. She really just ran through people, and that's all we saw. So I was a little disappointed about that. Obviously, when she just throws herself at people, it looks pretty strong. You know, it looks like she's really bulldozing through them. But I feel like she's not given enough, I don't know, like shine. The shine really comes from technical moves that I'm pretty sure she could do. Like, you know, it's not like she can only run through people. So I feel like she should be given some more of that opportunity.
You know how Nia Jax has been criticized for a while now for being dangerous in the ring. Do you think that is kind of limiting her moveset in the ring against some of the women?
For sure. I mean, I don't know what it is. I feel like WWE does this a lot. When you're a bigger sized person, the only way they use them is running through people. The only place that's not the case is NXT. NXT, the bigger sized people like Keith Lee to do backflips and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not asking Nia Jax to do a backflip or anything, but I feel like she could be given more moveset and, you know, not just told like run into them and see what happens, you know?
I think the match was fine. I do think it was kind of sloppy at times. There was a lot of things where it kind of like got like this. I don't know how to explain that in words. It was like this for a little bit. Also, there was one spot where I think Nia body slammed Charlotte on top of Natalya, and why wasn't the ref counting? Charlotte was technically pinning Natalya, like the Tower of Doom spot where Natalya was powerbombing Nia was superplexing Charlotte. That was scary, but I did like how Charlotte and Natalya kept on kind of like trying to get Nia out of the way, like no, get away, like let us wrestle, kind of like eliminating the bigger threat of it. But I totally agree with Nia, like needing more, like not just in moveset, but like that aggression, that intensity that I keep on talking about every time. And I hate that people think that I'm saying intensity and aggression, like that has to do with her size. That has nothing to do with her size. Like Kyrie, who's like 80 pounds, is intense and is aggressive, and she brings it in. You know, she does have like almost a limited moveset, but I feel like she just needs to be more like, I don't know, more like something more behind it for it. I thought it was random too that Asuka threw Nia back into the ring.
Like they just want to see them destroy each other because they're like her challenger. I do agree. Like even though Nia Jax was a winner of this match, I don't think she was a star of this match. I think a lot of the entertainment came from Asuka, first of all, from outside. Yeah. When that table spot happened, Asuka's reaction was gold. I personally think this match was super entertaining because there were some really fun spots when Charlotte mocked Natalya, like, come on!
Yeah!
Now listen, all three of these women...
But I'm like, yeah!
Loved it. The way she was like showing her NXT title to NXT superstars.
I'm to take over and beat you, but
you don't even follow me on Instagram. Just like, there's a lot of cool spots. And even when Natalya did the diving crossbody, I was like, I haven't seen Natalya do that a lot. Yeah. Because it was pre-recorded, I could see the editing style was a little different. So there were tons and tons more cuts than usual.
So many. There was almost a point where I'm like, yo, this camera shots are making me dizzy. Like it was like boom, 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 boom. These hard cuts were so noticeable. Like
there were so many cuts and like the crowd energy that hasn't been there for weeks. I was like, I'm kind of pumped up for this match. I thought it was entertaining, but I could totally see where the sloppiness and there's some like imperfections going on.
Yeah.
Overall, I think the match was pretty fun to watch.
Yeah, it was fine, but I just it was like I said, like a little sloppy at times. But it was. I think it definitely did what it was supposed to do for sure.
I also think Natalya was great in this. Her chemistry with Charlotte was great. Her desperation to win this, I think, was really fun. She's one of the other one that a lot of people think has pretty much limited moveset, but I think she was trying to show a lot more different stuff in this match. So I did really enjoy her. Let's talk about IIconics. I gagged in this segment because whenever there's like tag team segments, I just kind of like, okay, it's fun. Like, it's a mid-card feud. We can get somewhat of a segment, somewhat of a match, whatever. But the moment IIconics starts speaking, whoa, you're spewing facts.
I am so glad they actually addressed the fact that they did not get a chance to defend the tag titles, that they were basically casted aside and be like, what tag titles? What are you talking about? I am so glad that they mentioned that. They fucking felt it, you know, like they felt that shit. They like, and that's the difference. Say, for example, like Natalya, just when we were talking about her, how she delivers stuff versus how the IIconics and even Nikki Cross delivered those promos. You know, that's the kind of like the difference that we were talking about, is like that feeling and that connection with what they're saying is definitely very, very obvious here, that they really connected with what they were saying. They really believe that they got screwed over, because they did. I was not expecting that from the IIconics, and I am loving this new character trajectory that they're going on, where it's a little bit more serious, way more aggressive, and way more almost like down to business without necessarily losing everything that they had before.
I actually liked it. I used to be fans of IIconics when they were in NXT, and when they got moved up to the main roster, I was kind of upset because usually the main roster kind of buries NXT talent, and they had done that for a little while, but I'm really glad that they're getting this opportunity finally. And yeah, like Paloma said, there's a lot more emotion in their segments, and you can really feel it. Like, you can tell when a promo has that emotion coming from a wrestler, and I really like the way they deliver it.
The emotion came from another wrestler too. Nikki Cross, I think, cut the best promo of her career. I didn't really understand a lot of it because I'm ESL, not her fault.
We all are.
I was like, I'm not quite sure what she said, but I like it. But also, she kind of encapsulated what was happening between her and Alexa Bliss, because there was this whole storyline last year about, is she a real friend? Is she a fake friend? And then she turned face. Is she turned face? There was a whole storyline that was just like not mentioned for so long, and then she kind of like brought it back. So I'm glad that they're finally bringing storyline into the women's tag team division.
Nikki Cross with that promo, holy shit, she brought it. Like, I think I was more surprised from her more than the IIconics, and I was pretty surprised that the IIconics had that in them. You could feel that she was connecting with what she was saying, and she made some really good points too. Like, oh, you had your friends, you had each other. And I'm like, damn, that's true. And I kind of liked how like Alexa kind of almost like step back and let them have their moment, because I feel like this was more between them three. But I'm glad she still talked. Obviously, she wasn't just like standing there, so she still had her thing. But I think this was a really big highlight with Nikki Cross and the IIconics. But Nikki brought it, and more of that.
She's like the promo master, standing there like, you girls are doing great.
Yeah.
And then IIconics brutally attacked Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross.
That's the difference, I think, what like Nia and like other women that we see are missing, like that aggression, that like passion, and that meaning behind every move that they do. Because it's really easy to like just like phone in your moves and like do it for them, like but like we're really like, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to hit them harder. It just means that you have to put more effort or passion into it, you know?
Yeah, I feel like there's a difference when like you just stick your arm out for a clothesline, or if you really just put your body into it, you can really tell those things. And I feel like the IIconics have always been really good at that, at like showing that aggression, showing that passion that they have, especially in this like little attack it looked really good. I really liked it. I liked how they also threw Alexa into the corner just like last week. That was
yeah, I didn't even notice that. That's a good point.
Yeah. The other thing that WWE is hinting is the potential split between IIconics, because when they first entered, Billie Kay just kind of like walked in front of Peyton before their whole pose was done. I don't know. As much as I would hate to see it, they're planting it there. But we're going to talk a little bit more about that in news and rumor. Let's talk about my life and how it's so hard. I didn't know what my life meaning is until Ring the Bell started, because Liv Morgan promo. Okay, so we know that Liv Morgan is geared towards more younger audience, it seems like. So Black Widow, what did you think about this whole Liv Morgan segment about finding the meaning of life?
I wasn't too drawn to it, honestly. Props to Liv, because I feel like she's been used a lot more and she's showing off a lot more of what she has now that she's on her own. So props to her. I really like it. She's growing. I just don't know if this promo was it. I don't know. I wasn't convinced. Maybe other people were, but to me, this just wasn't her best promo.
I mean, it's a hard material for someone to do. It's not Liv's fault. It's creative fault.
Totally. And I get it. I've been there for sure. Oh, you're just floating through life, not knowing what's going on. But that's kind of so where do you go from here? What's the end game? What are these promos leading up to? Is she gonna find herself, and what's that's gonna be? I guess that's what I'm looking forward to, is why are these promos necessarily happening? What are these promos leading up to? I guess I should say. And hopefully they're not just making her do these hard promos just to do them. Hopefully it ends up being for a reason. I don't know what that reason would be.
I mean, if there is a payoff, that is one thing. But the thing is even last week when she was talking about Mother, yes, we do know that her mother was on Total Divas, and that was a lovely episode. That was great. Showing the relationship between her and her mom is different from her just talking about it. That's the writing 101, show not tell. You gotta show that, okay? So when she's just out there talking about it, it doesn't really connect with the viewers, especially with tons of people who haven't watched Total Divas. Liv Morgan is such an inspiring person. We know that. She has a lot to draw from her actual life, but if she's just out there discussing it, talking about it, without actually showing it, or organically bringing that into a storyline, it doesn't really work. It doesn't work, and that's not Liv's fault.
I think hard material is just difficult to just put out there. It's not easy when you get something so heavy like that. Yeah. And it's not easy to just put it out there, honestly.
Especially for her face, I feel for maybe if she was a super dark heel character, I don't know, Aleister Black vibes, I could kind of get it, but she's supposed to be a face, and I don't know. Like you said, it's hard. It's very heavy.
I know that WWE is still trying to work a storyline with Charlotte and Liv, so I would be down if Ric Flair comes in trying to woo the mom, and if that turns into a whole storyline with the wedding segment, Lana coming back as a lesbian, I would love that. That's how you solve it, not by her talking to the camera about her mom and about her life.
It does very intense blinks.
Anyway, that was this week's Raw and SmackDown. Hope you enjoyed this review. Black Widow, where can we find you?
So I have a Facebook page, and it's Black Widow EP, like El Paso. And then I'm also in a promo tournament right now, so if you guys want to go check that out, some of the women there are pretty badass. If you want to go through my timeline, the tournaments there, it's really cool.
Oh, wow. Okay, so we're going to put that link down below. Paloma, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Paloma Star. And shout out to all the people who are doing all these edits and fan art of us. I'm loving this. Thank you all so much for taking the time and doing it. I could barely draw a six-figure bonito, so you guys are so creative. So thank you so much for everybody taking the time to do that.
You guys are amazing. All the edits and all the warm messages that you send us, it really helps us keep going. So thank you so much. And you can find me at DS Shin and Ring the Bell DS, and you can also find the Diva Stand, this t-shirt on Teespring. But thank you so much, and see you next week. Bye.